So now the wet paper fragments are put into a blender. Go ahead.
With water.
With water. All right, so far what you need is you need a bucket to put water and cut up paper in. You need a blender in order to create the mash. You need a strainer, and the strainer is gonna help to strain out some of the water.
Yeah.
And then you end up with the leftover mash or pulp that you're gonna use to make paper. Okay, this is the paper pulp that's left over after making the mash in the blender and then draining the water out. So this pulp is what's going to be at the heart of the paper making. This is a variety of accoutrements to be added, right? So there's tissue paper, there's gold thread, there's these mesh paper making screens. Here's a variety of things that can be added. So we got seeds and flower petals and confetti that's been handmade. And all of this will go into decorating the paper. All right, so this is the accumulation of pulp that we're making and collecting so that we have pulp to make paper in the paper making class. And then here is a sample one that we did to make sure that the pulp was a good consistency. So we know that it's working. And look at that, look at how it's holding together. So it's on a piece of material so it can dry. And this one doesn't have any things added to it to gussy it up, but that can happen, and we'll show an example of that when we do more paper making.
So what I did before you came was me and my daughter made some paper mulch. So we got recycled paper, we let it soak a little bit, and then we put it in a blender with water, and that makes the pulp that we're gonna make the paper with. So we have buckets of water for everybody, and then what you're gonna do is grab a handful of the pulp and kind of let it spread in the bucket of water. So it's a nice consistency. And then we're gonna take the screen. The screen opens up like this. So this is the top part of the paper, and this is, so it has edges. And then you're gonna dip it in there. And depending on how thick you want the paper, you can go again, but then you're just gonna level it out. And if you want more, you can go back in there, get some more in there, let all the water drip out. This is gonna be a little messy, but we should probably get smocks.
Okay, 1 second, I'll get them as soon as I'm done with this.
And then we're gonna open this up, and we're gonna flip this part onto the fabric. This way. And then you're gonna take the sponge and press down to collect some of the extra water. Put it right back in there. And what this is doing is just pressing the mulch together to create that paper.
And so when would you put in decorative material?
So you can put that in the mulch itself, or you could put it on top of here. We'll get to that in a second.
So that's one sheet of paper.
Yep.
So now you can do this like a dozen times.
Correct.
And you have a dozen pieces of paper.
Yes.
Got it.
And then we let it dry, and that's why we have it on these cloths. It's just gonna sit and dry, but this is what it looks like after. So we made this a little bit before. And then depending on what you would like to add, we have some flowers, some hearts and bows, and some confetti that I made earlier to make it pop. And then that we can press down on the fabric and make it solidify. And then we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna give you some more fabric. You're gonna do the same thing over and over again, and then you could just lay it on top of that current sheet.
Okay, so I put some mash into the paper making screen and then added some tissue paper hearts on top of it. And now
You're gonna do
I'm gonna do the finished product with the help of our instructor, Christina. And we're gonna take it from here.
Open the screen first.
Open the screen. And then we have to flip it over onto the material.
Fabric. And then
Use
you're
a
gonna
sponge.
push it down and blot out the excess water.
And then once that starts going, wee.
Oh, look at that, babe.
Nice job, Sophia.
Looks like a crocodile.
All right, so I went for the medium size paper mesh, paper making mesh frame. So it takes a little more work to pat it down and take all the excess water out of it. And it needs a piece of material that's big enough for the size of the paper that we're making.
And then you slowly peel it off.
Boom.
And you have a piece of paper.
So we have a piece of paper, and what you cannot see yet until it dries a little bit, and I'll turn it over, is going to be all the hearts on the other side.
Right here.
There's some color coming through from the tissue paper. Now for the reveal.
Oh, you're ripping it.
Yeah, I am ripping it.
Stop.
Hold on. We want to do the big reveal here. All right, it's got to dry, but that's my attempt to put little hearts into the paper.
I need you to hold this. Hold it.
So this is my attempt at using some variegated tissue paper on the mash when I was squeezing all the water out. And then when it's dry, I will cut around the edge and I will have this pattern on the front of the paper because tissue paper will adhere to the mash.